Hello everyone, I'll go over a game I played in the Croatian League today, and I'm worried about a few things about this game. I managed to win, and I think I played a good opening, I played a great attacking game. However, one thing is bothering me. At one point in the game when I was surely completely winning, I missed a move my opponent could have played, and after I played my move, overseeing his threat completely, I saw what he could have played, I got worried, and then, since the position was completely losing for him for the last 10 moves, I decided to bluff and just sat there confidently looking at him like, you can't do anything, and he didn't play it. And he resigned one move later, but then I was coming home now, and in the bus I was calculating the variation, and I think he might have been completely winning. And after I won, I was very happy, so I didn't calculate it any further. But when I was going home, then I started calculating, and I think I was lost completely. But we will see that. I'll run through the game with my own analysis first. I'll tell you what I was thinking during the game, and then afterwards I'll turn on an engine just to see where I went wrong and whether this final move was a blunder or not. I played d4, he played c5, and usually I play the normal open Sicilian, the Prince variation, the Khan variation, the the Kramnik variation or something like that. But for this game I was preparing the Grand Prix for the first time. So I played knight to c3 going into the closed Sicilian, and he played knight to c6, I played bishop to b5, and I was preparing the move knight to d4 from him, and after that I would play bishop to c4. And the point is that he shouldn't really allow me to exchange my light squared bishop for his knight, because this is my worst piece in the Grand Prix, and after I play d3, f4, I want to get rid of this bishop because it's much less useful than his knight on c6. But when I was looking at his games in the last week, I saw that the only time he faced this, he played g6, he played this game as well, and I was very happy to take with the bishop. Now, of course, the best move is to play b takes, even though d takes isn't bad, but b takes allows the move d5, which is the main break for black, so I think he should have taken with the b pawn. He took with the d pawn, and I was very happy already, because even though the position is equal, strategically I have a much clearer plan of what to do. And here, of course, the best move is knight to f3 if you want to listen to the engines, but the Grand Prix is f4. And after f4, I have a very active position and a clear plan of playing knight to f3, castling short, playing queen to e1, d3, and then either bishop to d2 or bishop to e3. So by the time he starts developing, I'm going to finish my opening phase already. So bishop to g7, knight to f3, knight to f6, d3. In this position, I could have played e5, and I've been calculating this, but I don't like the fact that my e-pawn is overextended just yet, and I want to finish my development first. So d3, castles, he played queen to c7, which I don't really understand, and of course he was trying to pressure my f4 pawn, but that's easily defended. And I played queen to e1 here, trying to infiltrate with the queen on h4, and my common plan here now is to play h3, g4, queen to g3, and then continue my attack, and either play f5 or e5 or h4, h5, and try to open up his king position, because g6 is a weakness and it's a clear target in the position, so either f5 or h5 would weaken him significantly. However, here he played knight to h5, which I thought must have been a bad move, because first of all I have several ways to defend this pawn, and it can't drop ever. And secondly, the knight is misplaced whatever he does, and in fact I was considering the move e5 here, and after that he would have to maneuver his pieces like bishop to h8 and then to free up the g7 square or something, because after e5 I'm threatening h3 and then g4, winning a piece, so I'm not sure what he would have played. And this was my first idea. Then after that I was looking at a normal developing move like bishop to d2, because I was miscalculating him taking my pawn, and I was planning, I'll show you the variation. I thought I could play bishop to d2, developing simply, and then if he takes I could play this. And then I thought if he takes my knight, then I take his knight and I'm winning. However, after queen to g3 he has of course knight to e6, completely winning, defending the queen, and he took my pawn. So this is what I missed. So after knight to h5 I couldn't develop my bishop normally, so I decided to reinforce my weakest square in the position, that's d4, with the move knight to e2. And I'm not sure if this is good, But it turned out pretty well, and now I'm of course defending c3, I'm defending d4, I'm reinforcing the f4 pawn, and the knight is just completely misplaced. And you could argue that if his knight returns to f6 now, then I have gained the tempo, because my knight is better on e2 than on c3. But here he continues with f5, and I thought I was winning in this position, because of course I play e5, and now his knight has no squares, his bishop is useless throughout the entire game, and e6 is a permanent weakness, and I'm not sure why he did this. And to e5 he replied with h6, and now I was sure I was completely winning, because I have the move knight to g3, and I thought he would take my knight. This is the variation I was looking at. Takes, queen takes, he would have to defend this, so let's say king to h7, and I can just play this and continue pressuring him, and I think this position was great for white. However, after knight to g3, he played e6, and I was even happier now. I played knight takes h5, g takes h5, and here I started thinking for the first time. I knew the opening pretty well, and I have been preparing for almost any variation in the Grand Prix. So here I started thinking what to do, and I was looking at queen h4, attacking h5, knight h4, preparing rook f3, rook h3, or rook g3, and then I decided that I need to develop my bishop first, because queen to b6 is a threat, and some discovered checks with c4 could ruin my central control, because if I lose d3, or if I lose c2 and d3 is isolated, then I'll have a weaker position in the center and give him counterplay. So I played bishop to e3 first, and it's with tempo as well, because I'm attacking the c5 pawn, so now he can't do any of that. If he plays queen to b6, I was planning to play b3 simply, and that's it. Or, yeah, b3. b4 doesn't work, because he can take twice. So anyway, after bishop to e3, he played b6, defending, and now I was happy, because bishop to a6 isn't really such a good move, and now his pawn structure is limiting the scope of his bishop significantly. Here, I played knight to h4, and I didn't want to play queen to h4, because if I go queen to h4, then simply queen to f7 is defending the pawn, and in order to be able to get my rook into the game, I'm going to have to move my knight anyway. So I played knight to h4, and after king h7, I played rook to f3. And here I was very happy. I thought my position was great. However, he is sharing the open g file with me, but I think my minor pieces are superior to his, and especially this knight compared to this bishop, and my bishop is better than his as well, because he will have to waste at least 4 moves to get his bishop out of the game. So he played bishop d7, I played rook to h3, rook to g3 doesn't really do that much, I wanted to pressure h5, bishop to e8, defending h5, queen to e2, and I think this might have been a mistake, but in some positions I was looking at lines. I have to give him a stupid move now, okay. Let's say he plays rook to g8 here. I was planning to play knight to f3, and then I have to give him another stupid move, just to show you my idea. Let's say rook to d8. I was looking at this, and I'm not sure if it's any good, but I was considering positions like this. Of course, if he takes, it has to be better for me, but the problem is that he doesn't have to take, and I couldn't calculate any further. So I decided not to do that, and it took me a few moves to do it anyway. So I played queen to e2 with a plan to get my rook to f1, and that's it, connect my rooks. And I wanted to play bishop c2, bishop e1, or bishop f2, bishop e1, and defend my knight on h4. He played queen to f7, I played bishop to f2, rook to g8, rook to f1, bishop to f8, bishop to e1. And here I thought I wasn't that much better anymore, and I think I lost my initiative, and I played a stupid attack. I should have been more precise, and perhaps plan with rook to h3 was a mistake as well, but I still thought I was slightly better. Perhaps nothing major, but slightly better. So now bishop to e7 was played, knight to f3, and now I started, I wanted to exchange my bishop for his bishop and simply stay with a good knight against bad bishop. And my knight has served its purpose. The point was to get the rook to h3, so it did its job. And here he played rook to g4, which, okay, it's a threat, but I didn't think it was that good. I played queen to d2, defending the f4 pawn, bishop to d7, bishop to h4, and basically he's forced to exchange. If he doesn't, I have much better pieces. So bishop takes, knight takes, rook a to g8. And here I thought I must have been winning once again. I think my position is perfect, and I simply play rook to f2, and my plan is to play knight to f3, knight to e1, defending the g2 square, and that's it. I think his rooks are misplaced, despite the fact that they look remarkable, because they can't really penetrate g2. So here he played bishop e8, I played knight to f3, queen to d7, Queen to e3 was played here by me, and after queen to d5, b3 defending the pawn, he played a5, and now I was sure I was winning because I had a forcing sequence which gave me a central break and gave me central control, and which is even worse for him because his rooks are misplaced on the g file. So here I played c4, gaining a tempo on the queen. The queen only has two squares, either d7 or d8. Whatever he plays queen to d7. I played d4, opening up the position, and even though it's undoubling his pawns, I now have 3 weaknesses to target after this, and I think I was just winning. So cd4, queen d4, he declined the queen trade here. He was threatening to take on g2, so knight to e1 as planned, and here he played c5, and I played queen to d6. And you can see that one of these pawns is dropping off, and I was calculating queen to b7 before he played it, so I could see the threat. If I take on e6, which is a free pawn, he's going to play queen to e4. So I got scared of this a bit, and I actually thought that I should be preventing this move with, let's say, rook to e3. But then I just couldn't see the threat, because if I play rook to e3, then bishop to f7, and I have nothing in the position. I don't have as much as I did in the game. So I took the pawn, queen to e6. He did play queen to e4, and now I played the move I calculated, king to f1. And he doesn't really have anything. He doesn't have a single check. My g2 pawn is defended 3 times, so he doesn't have anything here. And I was sure I have a much better position here. I'm just a pawn up, and I thought the best move for him was to take on f4, and I was planning to take queen takes, rook to f3, and whatever he does now, I'm going to take on f5 and with check. So I thought he would be taking here, and queen takes f5 check. I like this position. I couldn't see what he does, so this is what I was calculating. However, after king to f1, he actually played the move I knew was losing immediately, and I was very happy to see that. He played bishop to c6, trying to increase the pressure on g2. However, the problem is that he has to take with check now in order to stay alive, and in order to take with check, he has to give up his queen. So I played rook takes h5, and now I'm threatening queen takes h6 or rook takes h6, which is a checkmate in a few moves, and also queen takes f5, exchanging queens and simply being a couple of pawns up and just winning. So in this position, he started being very angry and saying, oh, I overlooked this, blah, blah, blah. He was very angry and upset, and he defended with rook to g6. I took on f5, he played queen to d4. And this is the move. This is where I think I might have lost the game, but he missed it. Okay. So my first idea in the game was to play queen to e3, and after queen takes, knight takes, rook takes g2, rook takes g2, bishop takes g2, check. This is what I was calculating. Okay, let me show you this. This is the variation I was looking at, and here I still have 2 pawns, so I should be able to win. But I didn't want to exchange queens because I thought I had great attacking chances, and I didn't want to win an endgame because I thought that I could checkmate him. And my rook is slightly misplaced. He could attack it with the king, and then I have to go to h4, and I don't like this position that much. Of course it's winning, but it will take some time. So after queen to d4, I didn't like queen to d3, so I started looking for other moves, and of course this rook is pinned, and I have a free hand on the king side, so I was calculating rook to h4, and then threatening rook to g4, exchanging rooks. But then after king h8, I didn't know what to do, and I don't think it was as clear. Then I started calculating the move g3, but then I didn't like the position after the queen does something, I can't remember what. And then I found a very stupid move, which I played immediately. And if you ever read Kotov's How to Think Like a Grandmaster, this is what he says is the most common mistake of lower rated players, and I made this mistake this game. And of course I was calculating a few moves, and then I found the move I played. I didn't calculate at all, I played it, and I wanted to kill myself because I thought I blundered the game. I played rook to h3, and it's seemingly a good move. However, I think it might be losing. Of course, this rook is still pinned, and now I'm threatening rook to d3 and just winning. And I'm also threatening simply rook to g3 and exchanging rooks. So these are the two threats I have. And of course, in this position, queen to d3 works as well. But then, as soon as I played it, I was horrified because I saw that he could play bishop takes g2 check, giving up the bishop, seemingly, not really giving up the bishop. And As soon as I saw this move, I got very scared and I thought that I must have been losing, but as I said, he was very upset, so I decided to bluff and I was just sitting there like nothing happened. And then when I was going home, I think I found a win for him. So let's see. First without an engine. So bishop takes g2, and it's clear that I can't take with the knight, because if I take with the knight, queen to d1 check, and after knight covers, this is checkmate. Wait. His rook is pinned. Wait. Okay, bishop takes g2, knight takes g2. Queen to d1 check. Knight to e1. Wait, I have to turn on the engine. After rook to h3. Wait. Okay, let's see this position now. Rook to h3. You can see the evaluation on the right side of the board. Okay, rook to h3. Okay, it doesn't work. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, because I missed... I was looking at this variation. First, if bishop takes here, if I take with the rook, then what was... Yeah, okay, he has nothing. I was worried about knight takes, and then after I cover with the knight, queen to d1, no, I was worried about this checkmate, but the rook is pinned. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay, it was winning all the time. Okay, good. Okay. So after rook to h3, it was a good move, it seems. Anyway, so he played bishop to e4, chasing my queen away, and I played queen to h5, and this is just busted. He can't move anything. In this position, of course, he isn't threatening rook takes, because if he doesn't take with check, I'm going to checkmate him on h6. And if he takes with the bishop, then simply rook takes. Okay. Rook takes, and still he can't recapture with the rook because I'm going to take on h6. So this is just busted here. He resigned. Okay, I'm relieved that rook h3 wasn't a blunder. Okay, good. Okay. Good. Okay, so I didn't miss anything. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's check with an engine. e4, c5, knight c3, knight c6. This is all okay. Okay, this is the opening. f4, of course, the engine doesn't like, but that's the main plan. I want to get to this position. Okay, yeah, queen to c7 is a mistake, of course. It doesn't do anything. Knight to h5 is a mistake, and the best move was e5, but I was calculating first, and f5. f5 is supposed to be the best. f5, knight to f6. Why can't he take? If he takes, then e5. Oh, this is too complicated. I couldn't have seen this. Okay, but I played knight to e2, which is still okay. It's equal. Oh, okay. He should have played c4 here immediately. He played f5, which is horrible, of course. e5, yeah, this is now winning. +1. h6, +2.5. Okay, yeah, h6 was horrible. And the best move is knight to g3. And he should have taken... No, e6 is the best move. What? The engine likes e6 and knight takes g3. e6, I took, he took. This is +2 for white. This is just winning. Why didn't I win this sooner? Okay, bishop e3, the best move. b6, okay. Knight h4, not good. Oh, okay. I should have played knight to d2. Why would I play knight to d2? Queen h4 is better than knight to h4. Okay, I was looking at queen h4, and then what happens after queen f7? Knight to d2. Bishop a6. Rook to f3. Okay, I have some more initiative, but... Okay, after knight to h4, it's still +1. King h7, rook to f3 is a mistake. Bishop d7, rook to h3 is a mistake. Ah, I'm just losing my advantage. Bishop e8, queen to e2, queen to f7, +1.5. Bishop f2, this is okay. Rook to f1 is a mistake. Ah, now I'm equal again. I should have played knight to f3 immediately. Okay, we'll just skip over to the point where I thought that I might have been worse. Yeah, okay, this is -0.4. I am worse here. Where did he go wrong? Bishop d7. Okay, bishop d7 is a mistake. Bishop h4. Bishop takes. Knight takes. Rook a to g8. Now I'm better. Okay, rook to f2 is a mistake. Why is rook to f... I should have played g3. Why would I play g3? What do I do with my rook then? I didn't like this. Okay, so rook f2, the position is equal, bishop e8, knight f3. Oh, okay, now I'm better once again. c4, the engine likes, d4, it likes. Yeah, this is now once again winning for white. Queen takes e6 is the best move. Queen to e4 isn't really a threat, +2 for white. King f1. Rook, bishop c6 +4, okay, yeah. Rook takes h5 is winning, and now rook h3 is good. Okay, so that's it. A good victory. I could have improved on my attacking plan. I think I complicated matters too much around this point. And basically I was considering any endgame, and trading should benefit me because he has those weaknesses, and especially e6. So I think I would have won this in any endgame scenario, so I'm happy. Okay, so we won as a team as well. We won 4.5, 1.5 on 6 boards. A great score because this team is much higher rated than us. My opponent was about 200 points higher rated than I am. So this is a good victory. And we are actually sharing first place in the 5th Croatian League at the moment. So we have a great chance to go to the 4th league next season, because the first 2 teams on the scoreboard get to go to the higher league tier. Okay, everybody, I hope you liked my first attempt at Grand Prix. I never played it before, and I think I'm going to start using it more and more often. And thanks very much for watching. See you later. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye.